Hey guys, I'm your Props, and today I'm going to show you how I made a Pip-Boy 3000 out of cardboard and hot glue. So the first thing I did was got two duct tape rolls which fit inside of my arm or around my arm, and then I glued a strip of cardboard around that, and then I started gluing on some pieces to make the raised layers that this Pip-Boy has. You could just get two different sized duct tape rolls and then gradually put down some cardboard layers to there, but I just felt that this was easier for me to do. I also cut some strips of cardboard just to make some of the bands and details that go across it, and then I glued on some more thicker pieces of cardboard for the layers and then filled in all of those seams with hot glue. I then went through and used some thin cardboard to make some of the smaller details, just cutting those out and then gluing them together to give them a little bit more thickness, and then I just placed those around the front of the Pip-Boy. I then went through and cut out some sections of all the details that I had put down so that I could fit in the raised screen area, and I just made that by layering some pieces of cardboard to the right shape and then going through and cutting that shape out with the indentation of my phone, because I want to be able to put my phone in this as the screen. And then I went through and built that up a little more and glued on a hinge so that I could open and close it to fit my phone in. And then I went through and glued that on after putting on some supports and pieces just to hold it on securely. To make the hinge I mentioned earlier, I just bent two pieces of metal over a nail so that they kind of looped, and then I glued that on and glued the screen over that. And then I went through and glued on some of the smaller details on the front, cutting those pieces out of thin cardboard and layering them like all the other details that I made. I also made that little recessed section that goes down the front, just cutting that out of cardboard and gluing it on. And then I made the trim that goes around the screen, just gluing two pieces of cardboard together. And then I went through and made the Pip-Boy controller, just using some cardboard and cutting some grooves and stuff out of that, and then using a Sharpie cap for the knob that goes on the side, and then some random round piece for the knob that goes on the top. And then I coated that in some black primer, and then went through and started painting it. I then went through and painted the Pip-Boy a dark green. I just mixed this up in acrylic paints and stippled it on using an old brush of mine. You don't have to paint all of the black underneath, just because this is going to be really weathered anyway, so any flaws in the paint will just look like free weathering. I then went through and dry brushed and did a black wash over the whole thing, just using some watered down black paint, and this gives it that really nice worn look. After that, I went through and mixed up some rust colors. I hadn't really done any rust effects on my previous Pip-Boy, so I felt that was pretty necessary for this one. All I did is mixed up some different shades of rust, from like a darker red rust to almost a yellow rust, and went through and stippled those on in all the corners just to give it a good weathered look, because obviously these things are a couple thousand years old, so I mean, you definitely need to get it pretty weathered. And overall, I'm totally happy with how this thing turned out. I mean, I really love how this whole thing came together, and all the weathering on it looks really nice. And I mean, I don't know what to say. I'm just really pleased with how this turned out. It's a lot better than the original one that I made a while ago. I also put in my phone as a screen and just ran some Pip-Boy app things that I had on it, and that really makes it look nice. If you guys don't mind checking out my Etsy shop, this is probably going to be on there in a little while. I don't know when I'll upload it, but I also got a lot of other stuff that I have on there, like a bunch of lightsabers and some other smaller props and stuff that I've made. If you guys don't mind, like and subscribe, and please do. Let me know if you guys have any things you want me to build, and I'll make them. Thank you guys for watching. See ya.